In this video, we are going to make some plastic repairs on our model railroad pieces. And easy plastic repairs for models. First, what we're going to do is we're going to have an assessment of a couple of different products. First a glue, and then an epoxy product that can be used both for filler and for reinforcement. Now, our steps in doing a repair project begin with getting organized, and that means our work area should be clean. We should have all our parts assembled, and we should have the people in the area informed that we're going to be working on some delicate items. What we're going to do today is we're going to repair a dropped Santa Fe locomotive that is about 40 years old, and I wanted to keep going on the track. We're going to put some new steps on a locomotive and a gondola, and we are going to make some reinforcements on a forklift, some trucks, and roof of a locomotive. So our first, we have our project here, and this is a locomotive which I dropped. I broke off the front coupler, which had already been replaced once. And this was mine as a child. It's about 40 years old, and so I wanted to keep the thing going. So anyways, I took the plate off. Actually, it was mostly falling off. And this is it right here, the cover plate. And I found that I had to make a couple new places to put the screws. So I think to begin with, I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning here. I noticed there's a bunch of fuzz on here, and it's a good opportunity to clean up the pickups. And I can clean the axles off real quick here, and a little bit of buildup there, clean off the wheels a little. I just have some rubbing alcohol that I'm using for this cleaning project, and I usually just use the cotton swab, and we'll just get that cleaned up a little bit, and then we're all ready to do our drilling. And what I did here was I used this JB Weld product, which we're going to be mixing up in a minute or so. And I've already prepared this. I put some Scotch tape on the back side of the hole, and filled both holes here, both spots. Filled the holes up with the mixed JB Weld product, and then I let it set for at least 24 hours, although these have been longer than that. Now I've got my screws picked out that I'm going to be putting in there, and this here back one was still pretty intact, although it was stripped out pretty bad. But we know exactly where that one's going to go, and then the front one was really stripped out. I mean, almost all the plastic was gone, so we essentially had to build a new housing there for the screw. And first, I'm going to take this pin, and I'm going to mark the location for our hole. And there we have it, marked in the JB Weld right there. And I'm going to get the hole started using the X-Acto knife and the sharp point there, and I think I have about a 1/4 inch of JB Weld built up in there, so I'll get a pretty good hole started. And had it been a little bit of a thinner, I could have just done the whole entire hole using this, but as it is, I'm just gonna use that to get the hole started. And we might as well go ahead and start our other hole too while we're at it. And both of these will have to be drilled, and I'm just going to be using a regular electric drill. I think you could use a pin vise, or you could use a Dremel, or whatever tool that you have available. But this is what I have, is the electric drill. So we'll get the hole there, clean that out, and this one here, the piece of Scotch tape is still in there. Okay, that one I can see all the way through, and I don't know if it's satisfactory. I think I'll just do a little bit more with this, and I think we'll have a good enough hole. so we won't have to use the drill on that one at all. And we just want just the minimum amount of drilling, because we want to make sure our screw is gonna bite or catch. And this one, I'm sure we have a pretty thick buildup. Maybe I'll just try getting through with this. See if I can pop through. It's a pretty hard plastic that it sets up to, and it is very strong. And just go ahead and use the drill here. Be real gentle with this stuff and blow it all out. Okay, we want to make sure our screw is going to catch in there. It looks like it's just perfect. And I used a little template for my screw size to try to get the right screw size. So I think I'll clean this up here with this alcohol and get that cleaned up good. Get that whole area cleaned out. Clean those again. Get that clean. Okay, next thing we do is we put our wheels on, and these, you'll notice the back wheels, there's a little bit of a rubber track here. This side is insulated, this side is the pickup. So the front wheels, we want this is the pickup side, and this side you'll see there's a little rubber bushing there, and that's the insulated side. So we want the insulated side across from the pickup side over there. Likewise, we'd like the this one the same, so the insulated one is across from the pickup. Okay, and those have all been cleaned, and then we put our cover on, and there we go. And I kind of wanted these screws to match, so this one, I think I got the exact right length there, and we'll get our screwdriver out and get that one drilled in. It just taps right in there. There it goes. There it goes. Real nice. And then the other one, I can even I found out that I can just take these screws just the way they came, and I can just cut them to the right length. That looks about right, using that, and we'll get the screw in place. Get that truck back in there. Okay, it'll take a little bit to get this one started, but you can see I had a pretty crude method for getting it, but actually maybe I'll start it using a different screw just to get some threads going. We'll use something else. Get that back in there. That lined up. There. Just use that screw in there, and we'll get this one snugged up. Well, you know, I think I'm going to take this one out and see if I can't get that matching one to go in now, because that one kind of made a hole for it. And we'll see if this one goes in good. Once we get a bite, it'll take. There, I think we got it. There. Well, I guess our hole was not. Oh yeah, there it goes. There it goes. There. Okay, get them nice and get them snug, and check them for play. And there we go. There we have our repair. And here you put on the track. You can see I actually used a little bit of this JB Weld to build it up a little bit right in here, and I'll just mix some of this stuff up so you can see exactly what the product looks like. And put about half of that on there, and about half of this on there, and mix it together with your toothpick. Get it mixed up real good until it just turns one color, and the consistency will change as it hardens, and it actually is it's the most liquid right away. And sometimes you'll want to get these long threads and you'll want to use that for stuff, but I use something like that right here to reinforce this coupling. And actually it didn't even have a front coupler on it, so that's just a built on there. And then the rear one, I use that JB Weld to hold the whole coupling on, and I also used it for this, which might have been a mistake, but that whole plate is actually JB welded on. And now this is a repair job is complete. Okay, some of the other uses of the JB Weld, I used some around the window here, this small strand, to reinforce these windows. These were just cut out homemade windows, but it reinforced holding them on. I didn't want them falling off. I put new horns on, and I used the JB Weld because the holes were too big, and I just put the Scotch tape on the inside of the shell, and I just put a drop of JB Weld. I used a piece of Scotch tape, and I put the tape over to hold it in place because it does take quite a while to get that on there. I also used the JB Weld to reinforce these steps, and I had a heck of a time. You can see a couple of them are broken off. One of them's right here, but I found that after I glue them, if I use the JB Weld, there's just a drop of it right there in the corner, and that could be painted to match the rest of the model. And then there's a drop right here in this corner, and that adds a lot of strength to that step, so it can be handled a little bit easier. I've also got some JB Weld on this model, and it was the front and the rear to hold these two together. There's a JB Weld there that really reinforces the frame. There's a dotted JB Weld holding the steering wheel on, and again I use Scotch tape to hold it in place while it's set up. This one here too, I have some JB Weld holding the front and the back together right here, and there's a little dot of it right here to hold these springs straight. And I found that with these Woodland Scenic products, this JB Weld I wouldn't be able to do it without it, because I use it everywhere to hold stuff together and to give it a lot of strength. And this one, we're just going to add a little bit of reinforcement. I just glued this on a couple days ago, and this forklift kept on falling apart on me. But if I just put a little bit of JB Weld, you can see I'm kind of using the long string. But if I'm just real careful and I get a little, just like building up a piece of metal there, and then just kind of twist it to break it off. And there I have a little bit. I think I'm going to actually put a little bit more on, but it really strengthens this, and it won't be nearly as fussy. When you go to handle it, you're not going to have to worry about the thing falling apart on you. So I think that's all we're going to talk about on this video, is the JB Weld, and using it. You can kind of see the consistency of it in a few places where I've used it around here on my different projects. Now it is liquid, so you're going to have to somehow set your thing up so as it flows it doesn't fall out. I also use JB Weld on this product to hold the I put a new cover on, and I just got the long strand like this, and actually used it to attach the roof onto the cab. And you can see it came out pretty good. This needs to be painted, of course, but it makes a nice seal. It might take a little bit of practice getting this nice string to lay right, but I have found that there's literally thousands of uses for this JB weld with a model railroad.